Food for thought. Be open to all those around you and never judge a book by its cover. It is super easy to have pre-assumptions about people, to judge someone about how they look, the way they talk, their clothing style that they wear, the things that they say from a first impression perspective. And yeah, sometimes the tells about people are true. It is very telling about a person if they're kind of weird, they're kind of shy, they're kind of strange, they're different. But just because they're not like you doesn't mean they're weird or they're bad or they can't be friends with you. Because I think where we begin to judge is when we can't relate to someone, when we don't have similarities, when we don't feel that connection. Our human brain sees that as, oh, that's unsafe. We shouldn't try to explore it, try to be friends with that person because it's unknown and we don't relate. But once we step outside and we understand that is why our body is reacting the way it's reacting, we can push through those barriers. We can understand that, yes, they might be different, but difference is a good thing. That would you want someone to be your best friend who's exactly like you? I definitely wouldn't. I need somebody who's different, but we share the same morals and values, the things that are core to us, but we don't have to be the same personality. I just like the difference. You can have somebody who's perfectly like you or exactly like you. But what I'm saying is to never shut out somebody just because they're different. Because maybe they could be your new best friend. Maybe that group of people that you don't really know about will be your new friend group. Yes, friends can come and go. Yes, friends don't always stay, but they're here for either a reason, season, or a lifetime. But the thing is, you don't know that until you let them in. You don't know that until you give them a chance. And it's so important because you can share so many things. I think the best way to get to know somebody is through laughing and through humor and just simple stuff like that, because then you don't get to share laughter in a conversation most often. Rather, it's sparked by something, and then you can bond over that. And you can have that small little bond that can grow into something so much bigger. Like, the whole entire reason this sparked this idea in me was that Monday or Tuesday I met the people I'd be working with, as in my cohort, the people who were also doing the internship but working on different projects. And obviously, first impressions, I was like, who are these people? I don't know them. Who are they? What's their vibe? And there were many people I was kind of I don't know about them. But we literally played cards for almost 2 hours, just laughing and carrying on. And obviously at first it's awkward, we were doing small talk. We were like, where are you from? What is your internship about? What are you specifically doing with your project? And obviously it's small talk. You can't just open up like that. And after just hanging out with them, there was 4 or 5 of us, including me and my roommate, so 3 others. We were like, this is so much fun. I wouldn't have been able to have that connection with other people if I didn't look past those initial judgments. Yes, the first impression is so so informative, and sometimes those don't change about people. Sometimes your gut hunch is the right hunch, but then other times your gut hunch is just your gut hunch because you don't know, rather than your intuition. And sometimes you gotta weigh the balance, you gotta pay the price. And just reflecting on that, it was so funny because me and my roommate were like, hey, let's just like get some people over this weekend. Let's like play some cards, because I brought a bunch of cards from college. And I did, and we did. And it was so funny because I saw one of the people in my cohort at Walmart with their roommate, and I was like, hey, me and my roommate want to do cards later tonight. Like, can I get like your Instagram, or does like the app that we use to like communicate work better? And they were like, Instagram. So like we did Instagram, and it ended up working out. And just looking back, you can see it in my videos. You can genuinely see it in my videos. If you go back to the first few videos that I posted, I was very uncomfortable. I was very like, I wouldn't have been able to invite people over, talk to them in public without doing the inner work, without having the comfortability of being uncomfortable trying to be social with other people. And it just goes to show, if you want it bad enough, you're gonna do it. And my speaking ability with other people has grown so much, and I just want you to grow as much as in the same way. And I share these things with you, not to gloat, but to be an example that you can do whatever you want to. My goal this year was to become more social, and I have been. And I've documented how I've done it, and you can see it in my videos. And I just want you to know that you can do it too. Because I thought I was an extreme introvert, but I just was not comfortable talking with people. And I guess I just forgot how much I missed hanging out with people and laughing with others. And that's simply it. That you're not necessarily one or the other. You're just more comfortable being more one or the other, and you can just become uncomfortable being comfortable being uncomfortable doing that other thing. And I say this because this morning I went down to the farmer's market here, and I was like, I'm gonna challenge myself to talk to one of these booth owners and ask them how they started their journey, why they started it, and how they did it. Okay? But that was like maybe like 5-10 minutes into like walking to the farmer's market. And so I did. I was like trying to like get a feeler out for like who I should ask. And no, my intuition wasn't picking up about anybody. And so I literally probably trailed the walkway of the farmer's market like 2 or 3 times. And I never saw this lady once in my eyesight. But on the last time that I was going through on my way back, I was about to leave, I see this older lady selling pies. And my intuition was like, she's the one. Go talk to her. And so I did. And it was so nice. And her name was Valerie. And she told me, so one of the things I noticed about her display was that these pies were about yay big. So they were like small. They're like 8-inch, or I don't know, small. And I was like, well, how were you inspired to get the packaging? And she was like, talking about progress, like not distinctively, but progress, parentheses, context. She was like, well, I started out just having my pies being displayed, but as the season went and it got hotter in June and July, the bugs would swarm the pies. And so then she switched to plastic bags. And then one of her friends was in like a major, like big farmer's market. And she saw that they were in individual boxes. And she did it. Valerie did not start with boxes right away because she didn't know. She started with nothing, and then she worked to plastic bags, and then she worked to these beautiful boxes that are like pink on the outside that have a clear display thing that you can see the pie through, and this pretty parchment paper. It's like each box has its own individual like parchment paper. It's like gift wrap, like stuffing paper that you'd like stuff like bags with. Yeah, but it's just to show that if you want something, you can do it. And from the outside, if I would have judged her from the outside, like, oh, she's just a grandma who doesn't know what she's doing, who's just selling these weird pies. No. I just wanted to talk with her. And I didn't let that typical first impression block me, because she told me that she had a corporate job for the past, I don't even know how long. And then she ended up switching to, or she retired, and then she went back to this hospital corporate job. And she had to go back to college to take a medical terminology class. And then she does this just as a hobby. She bakes on Fridays to Saturdays, and 5 in the morning she packs these pies to get there at 8 from 12:30 to 1-ish to sell them till. If you let those first impressions of people, groups of people, different races, different ethnicities, different like genders, different gender like types, and just different individuals, then you might not grow into the person that you're meant to be. Not to say that it's not enough, but you're not fully experiencing life. I feel like you get so much of an experience when you reach out to different people, when you share different moments with people who do not share similar experiences with you or than you, like you. Because you get to see a different side. Like, one of the people that were here, they're from the east side, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. And they're like, well, I don't really like where we are here. It's not really pretty. And I'm like, yeah, very true. Very different terrains. And they were like, this area has taught me how to appreciate where not to be, like in a sense of like being able to appreciate when they're not in this area. And just being open to other people is so important. And really just, even though you want to have your first impressions, even though you want to have your first judgments, let them go. Let them go when you actually want to meet a person. Because when you let things go, when you let your barriers break, when you take down your walls, you can truly experience other people, and you can make some beautiful friendships that you might not ever expect that will last your lifetime. Food for thought.